and welcome to today's video blog. I'm Andrea Barkley, personal trainer, private cook, writer, and founder of Moan Out Loud Protein Shakes. I am excited to introduce you to my guest, Katie Pena, today, as we talk all about the role of supplements in your fit lifestyle. Katie is certified in nutrition through the National Exercise and Sports Trainer Association, as well as through the organization Exercise and Nutrition Works. She's also studied with ISSA and was the owner of the supplement store Max Muscle for 8 years. Currently, Katie runs her own nutrition coaching practice and oversees the nutrition and detox programs for an Arizona naturopathic doctor. Hello, Katie, and welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, as you know, I'm all about helping others to feel their fittest. And, you know, one of the things that comes up a lot for me from clients and people that I'm talking to is wondering about supplements and where to begin, and also if they even, need to take supplements. And so I'm so happy to have you here because you're an expert. I know that you care so much about quality overall. You choose organics and pastured foods over conventional foods. You look and feel healthy and fit, and yet you also do a really good job not going overboard and living in balance. So to me, you exude health and wellness, and you walk the talk. And so I'm just pumped to chat with you today.
Thank you. I try. It's an everyday thing.
So question number one, are supplements necessary? Isn't food enough when you're eating fit and clean?
Well, I feel like supplements are a good boost to kind of help fill in holes. Now, it's not going to replace an unhealthy diet. It's not going to fix that. But it can fill in the holes where you're not maybe switching up your foods enough, or have certain days where you're not getting the nutrients that you need.
So what does every person who works out and, is trying to lead a fit lifestyle, what do they need to know about taking supplements?
Well, first off, it's not a magic pill. So it can definitely help give you a boost and help you get towards your goals, but it's not going to do it automatically. So, think of it as a friend to kind of help you along and give you that extra push, but it's not going to do it on its own.
Kind of like having a workout partner or a personal trainer, maybe.
Yeah.
I love that. Under your advisement and my own trainer's advisement a couple of years ago, started taking glutamine and branched chain amino acids in a powder form and mixing it into my protein shakes, or making my own homemade sports drink. And I found that my recovery was 1,000,000% better, and I was able to work harder and go back in and hit muscle groups more often, and it made me feel amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in the skeletal muscle. So people often get depleted through stress, through age, but mostly through exercise. So people who exercise, it's really important to use something like that to help recover quickly, especially if you are extremely active like you are, training clients and working out on your own. You get depleted really fast. So Glutamine is something that there's no toxicity level, and it's really easy to digest. It can also help with immune system and people with IBS. So it's good stuff.
So how do you decide which supplements to take?
Well, it's going to be something different for everyone. Now, for most people, I do recommend a good quality multivitamin a daily, and also omega supplements. So an omega-3, 6, 9 healthy fats. Aside from that, you want to define what your goals are and then specify it from there. So, for example, your goals at the point when we had talked a couple years back about your recovery and feeling worn down, we decided that glutamine and BCAAs would be really beneficial for you to help, with the endurance and preserving all that lean tissue that you've worked so hard for, and also recovery. There are things to help with muscle building. There are things to help with energy production. There are things to help with fat loss. So really starting with the good basics like the multivitamin and omegas, and maybe something like a probiotic for immune boosting, and then going from there towards your specific goals.
Okay, so you brought up two things that I have to talk about. One is fat burning. So there isn't a human alive who doesn't want to work on fat burning a little, even if you're already fit. We all, it's funny, I say to, my clients, a lot of them are already pretty fit. And I say, you're fit and you're healthy and you look great, but if you want to go from being fit and healthy to looking like the cover of Oxygen magazine, then you've got to kind of tweak some things out a little bit, you know? And so what can we take if we want to, you know, start to shred up a little bit and drop a little bit of body fat?
Well, one of my favorite fat burning combos, especially without the use of stimulants, is going to be CLA and L-carnitine. So CLA,
CLA and what?
CLA and L-carnitine.
Okay.
CLA is conjugated linoleic acid. It's an omega-6 fatty acid, and it's going to help with stimulating the breakdown of stored fats, lipolysis, okay? It works really well with the L-carnitine because the L-carnitine then transports that fat to the mitochondria of the cell where you burn it for energy. So they're both going to be good for preserving lean tissue, for extra energy production, for extra fat burning. And I like it because it doesn't use caffeine or stimulants, and you still get a really good effect from it.
So are you supposed to take those two things together at the same time, or how does that work? Does it matter if you take it in different, you know, like one in the morning and one in the evening, or are you meant to take them together?
You can take them at different times of the day as long as you're using them regularly together. And with CLA, most CLAs are going to recommend taking it 2 to 3 times a day. And L-carnitine usually 2 times a day. If you are working out one of those days, you want to take one of your L-carnitine doses pre-workout because it really will help with using more of that stored fat as a source of energy. Okay,
good to know. Okay, so then the other thing that you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago was a probiotic. And I am a big fan of trying to keep your gut happy and healthy. One of the things that I've noticed in my own experience with taking a probiotic is that it can make me feel a little bit bloated. Is that a common thing that you hear? And how do we choose the right probiotic for us?
Well, you may have to do a little bit of experimentation with that. Okay. What I recommend to people who have any kind of bloating issues or stomach upset with foods is to take it at night before bed with a little bit of a snack. That usually helps with some of the discomfort, and maybe if you were to experience some of that right after taking it, you're going to sleep through it. But you may have to kind of try different formulas that work better for you. What it's doing is helping to grow the healthy bacteria in your gut. So for some people, especially if you have digestive issues, it can cause a little bit of bloating right at first.
Interesting. So talk to me a little bit about how to navigate the waters of supplements and brands. And, you know, if I'm like, okay, I'm excited, I'm going to take a CLA and a probiotic and magnesium and all these things, how do I find the right quality for me? Because the supplement business, from, you know, what we hear and understand, is that it's a bit unregulated, and so you don't know if you're getting quality or not.
Right, it isn't very regulated. So one thing that I usually look for when choosing a new brand is that it's CGMP, and CGMP means Compliant Good Manufacturing Practices.
Okay.
So that's going to be very important because it's a third-party certification that ensures the quality of the raw ingredients, the strength, the purity. It's going to make sure that they have clean facilities where they, you know, produce their supplements. So that's going to be a big thing. You know, there's lots of different good brands out there. When I choose vitamins, I usually try and choose whole food-based vitamins. That's going to be another big thing rather than synthetic vitamins. Not that synthetic vitamins are completely bad, but they are vitamins that are created in a laboratory and not quite derived from whole food sources. So we rather get the whole food sources than the synthetic sources because your body recognizes the difference. You tend to get much higher absorbability from those products than you would a synthetic.
Okay. So do you think it would be a good idea if, you know, if I'm not sure what brands are right or, you know, what to choose, like, you know, one of the things I do is pop into, you know, my local health food store, like a Whole Foods or a Sprouts or, you know, like a little boutique store that is known for having higher quality products, and ask them for their opinion on you know, a good brand and that kind of thing. Do you think that's a good approach, or should we do a little bit more research on our own first?
I think both. I think, you know, ask some trusted people in the fitness industry that have knowledge. You, Andrea, you actually do have quite a bit of knowledge with this. You can contact me, a trusted personal trainer maybe, but also doing a little bit of your own research with the companies online and asking the staff in the stores, and then kind of going with your gut and what you feel is right from you from there.
Okay, I like that whole trusting your gut thing too. I think makes a lot of sense. And also, I think too, and I could be mistaken, but no, actually I do think this is true, that if you buy a supplement from a store, even I think if you get it on Amazon, and if you don't like the way that it makes you feel, or I've ordered supplements too online that they show up and they have an added ingredient that I wasn't feeling comfortable with, they'll let you return them. Is that been your experience too?
Yeah, for the most part, there's not many places that I'm aware of that wouldn't allow you to do that. So yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the boutique stores that you mentioned will give out samples and let you try different things, especially with like protein powders and that type of thing. So it's good to ask the staff if they do have samples or if they sell single dose packs of that particular product.
I didn't know that. That's great advice. I know that's true. And protein powders, you can often buy like a single pack before you commit to it, but that's amazing you can do that with a supplement.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you ask questions, talk to the people that work there, and research online and go with your gut from there.
So let me ask you this question. So there are a lot of like big name brands out there. You can go to a big box store, or there's like a common, over 50 silver for women, whatever. Do you think that, those come from a lot of different places? And I am not one to point names at brands, but I think we know some of who we're talking about. But do you feel like those are good choices? Like it's better to have that than to not have that? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I would say don't waste your money with those. If you're buying it at Walgreens or Walmart or, Kirkland, Costco brand, Centrum 21s, and I'm going to say the brand, sorry, I would avoid them. They're made in China. They are synthetic vitamins that have many inactive ingredients, a whole lot of fillers and binders and just things that are really unnecessary. And so it's kind of a waste of money for the most part. If you're going to spend money on a supplement, I would spend money on a good quality one.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, and if you happen to know, how do they do that? Like, why would they put fillers in?
Because it's less expensive. It's a lot cheaper to make them. The price of raw ingredients doesn't differ very much as far as what's available in the U.S. So everybody kind of starts from a similar base. And it depends on what they put in from there that kind of creates that price point. One thing that a lot of people don't know and are really surprised to hear about, for example, if you see Optimum Nutrition, which is a pretty reputable brand, and you're going to see it at boutique stores, but you also see the big bags of it at Costco for a really inexpensive price. It's not the same exact product that you are getting from the boutique stores or from the vitamin shops or the GNCs or the High Health.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. They'll put more fillers in those to make it more affordable. And one way you can really kind of pinpoint and find those out is by looking at the actual product that you'd buy from the company, so from Optimum Nutrition, and looking at the number of grams of protein in one serving and dividing it by the number of grams in the scoop. So let's say one serving size is a 32-gram scoop. That's the weight of the scoop, the product. And there's 24 grams of protein in it. So you do 24 divided by 32. If you're getting something that's about 80% or above, it's a pretty clean product. But you'll find that with the Optimum Nutrition at the health stores versus the Optimum Nutrition at Costco, they're going to be a different percentage. And that's because of the fillers and the binders and the unnecessary ingredients that they put in there to make it affordable.
Wow. Now, I'm sorry, does that happen to be a protein powder? I know you're just using that as an example, but out of curiosity, is that a protein?
Yes. Yeah. Optimum Nutrition 100% Whey it's a really popular brand. A lot of people use it. And I do feel like the product that you'd get from a GNC or High Health or Vitamin Shop or NutriShop would be a good one. But if you're buying it from Costco, you're not buying the same thing. So it's something that you should be aware of.
Good to know. Really good to know. So a question to answer for all my, fitness girls out there. All the guys are taking creatine, and that's like their number one go-to when they're lifting heavy and trying to get big. Should girls take creatine?
Creatine's fine for women to take. Yeah, absolutely. Now, what you want to determine is the right form of creatine to use. So for most females, I would say you might want to avoid monohydrate, creatine monohydrate, just because it's a little bit more common to see bloating and water retention. And I don't know about you, but I don't ever want to retain water. So you may want to go with like a creatine ethyl ester or a crealkaline, which are two different forms of creatine that are buffered and that tend to have much less bloating, much less water retention. It'll be a lot easier on your stomach to digest too.
So tell us, remind us what creatine actually does.
Creatine's great for ATP production. It's going to help you with energy, strength, and recovery in between sets. It's also good for overall recovery, so you can use it pre or post. It's pretty versatile.
Huh. And so why would you choose that over like a glutamine or BCAA, or what's the difference?
Well, I would recommend creatine to people who really want to try and build, and also want to get a little bit more out of their workouts. The more effectively you break down the muscle tissue, as you know, the more effectively you can repair it and then build. So yeah, I mean, a lot of them have similar functions. Like the glutamine is good for recovery as well, and for preserving lean tissue. BCAAs are good for recovery, endurance, preserving lean tissue. You kind of got to find the right balance of what products you like, which ones you enjoy taking, and which ones that you don't find you have any kind of negative side effects from.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Those side effects, I think, are different for everyone, and the way anything makes you feel is super unique. So let's say I start taking a supplement and I love it and I'm feeling great. How often should I take that supplement, and should I worry about something like rotating my supplements?
I think rotating is a good idea. I think it will help with maintaining progress, number one. I think it'll help with avoiding any kind of allergy situation. Just like with our foods, if we're taking or eating too much of one thing all the time, it can build up in our system and create an allergy. So supplements, especially with whole food supplements, you really want to try and rotate them as much as possible. I would say every 2-3 months. When you're doing caffeine and stimulants, I would say definitely take a break every month and a half, 2 months.
Do you, just a side question, a personal question, do you drink coffee?
I do.
Do you ever occasionally just be like, I think I need a break and try and knock it out?
I do. And I'll take a few weeks off and just kind of reset my adrenals. But I love the taste of it. So even if I'm doing that, a lot of times I'll try a little decaf in the morning with my protein.
I do the exact same thing. I love it. But I also know that I can cut it out and not miss it. And my energy doesn't change too much. So just curious.
And if you're using it wisely and you're not overdoing it, you'll find that the withdrawal from it is not very heavy duty. So you'll be able to eat pretty quickly.
I agree. And so another supplement that comes up all the time is magnesium. And tell us a little bit about magnesium. I've been shopping for magnesium. I have a ton of food sensitivities. And I've, been told that magnesium is a great addition to a healthy, fit lifestyle, and also can help with digestion. But when you go into pick a magnesium or online, there's a million different choices. How do you pick, and which one is best?
There are a lot of choices. There's so many different forms of magnesium. There's the citrate, calcite, orotate. What I prefer is to do a broad spectrum, so that you kind of cover all your bases as far as absorbability. I feel like it's just kind of the best option for that, because all of them tend to react a little bit differently with everyone. So doing something that has a little bit of each form, or several different forms, is going to be best.
Okay, so, and you could go into a health food store or whatever and say, I'm looking for a broad spectrum magnesium, and they could help you with that.
Absolutely. And make sure you look at the back of the label just to verify that you see several different forms, and they'll list it out. And one suggestion for you, Andrea, you mentioned that you have a lot of food sensitivities. Sometimes people with food sensitivities do need to try synthetic vitamins over the whole food vitamins. And synthetics aren't always bad. There are still some companies that make really good high quality synthetics, but it might be easier for you if you find that you are really sensitive to things. One really great company that I recommend that does good synthetic vitamins is Jigsaw Health, and they're mainly online.
Jigsaw Health. Okay, that's good to know, because I had a food sensitivity test done, and I was sensitive to every healthy food that I eat all the time under the sun. And it's not that I don't eat a variety of healthy foods, it's that I eat an enormous amount of healthy foods over and over and over. So for me, it was kind of a fun challenge. Like, I had a list of stuff to eat that I don't normally eat, like parsnips and oranges and turnip greens and those kinds of things. And so for me, it was a fun challenge. But if you look at the back of a whole food vitamin jar, it's listed with foods that I am trying to avoid because of sensitivities.
Yeah, and in that case, you may want to go with a synthetic, at least for a while you're trying to get through those sensitivities.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Because I also know, like, there was a time when I was so sensitive to gluten, but I've cut it out of my system enough that I can have a little bit from time to time and not have all of those nasty side effects, as long as I keep it in a really small, moderate amounts.
Right. And when you have sensitivities, I mean, you want to take those foods out completely for several months and then start to introduce them back in, you know, little by little. But I've had the same thing years back I struggled with, and luckily I'm through it all now, and I can eat pretty much anything, which is great.
That is awesome. So tell us about some lesser known supplements that are, you know, really cool. Like, what are some of your favorite under the radar supplements?
I like elderberry. Elderberry is really great for immune health and fighting infection. Another one that I use daily is maca.
Okay.
I think you've used maca before too, right?
Girl, I recently made a maca brownie protein.
Okay, tell me that recipe.
It was good.
But maca is really great for natural energy production. It's great for hormonal health, libido. It has tons of trace minerals in it and some vitamins in there. So maca is really great for females and males actually too, but especially for females that are, you know, rebounding from pregnancy or getting off birth control or going through menopause. It's really great to kind of help balance out those hormones.
Wow, good to know. Good to know. And then back to elderberry, how do you take that? Is that in like a liquid form, or is that like a capsule?
Well, they actually have it in several different forms. They have them in liquid syrups, they have it in capsules, they have it in gummies. So you can find it in pretty much any of those forms.
Awesome. What about Coenzyme Q10? I had someone send me a sample of Coenzyme Q10 in a powder form, and I don't have a clue what to do with it.
Well, CoQ10 is great. I mean, it's something you can take daily. It's really good for helping natural energy production and heart health. Really great for preventing heart disease. It's good for elderly with Alzheimer's. Yeah, it's something that you can definitely use daily, and especially for somebody that does as much, you know, heart exercise and cardio and that kind of thing that you do. You definitely want to take that.
Talk to me a little bit about digestive enzymes. So digestive enzymes are another little secret supplement that has been an absolute godsend for me. And years ago, a fitness mentor of mine recommended that I do digestive enzymes with hydrochloric acid. And that's actually not easy to find. I take one, it's like not organic or like a Whole Foods brand, but it's by Twin Labs. And I have to tell you, it makes all the difference for me. But if I look at what's available in Sprouts or Whole Foods, a lot of them are whole food based with the enzymes coming from papaya or pineapple or something like that. So what are your recommendations for a digestive enzyme? How do you know if you need it, and do you take it before or after a meal?
Well, first I would start off taking it at the beginning of a meal. You know you need it if you're somebody that has digestive issues. Maybe you're slightly lactose intolerant. Maybe there are certain foods that you eat that you just don't digest very well. Have you ever heard of Beano? Little Beano.
Oh, yeah.
Those are digestive enzymes because beans are hard to digest for many people. So there's different enzymes that help break down different types of foods, ones that help break down sugars and carbs and fibers, and ones that help to break down proteins and fats. If you feel like you have gut issues to begin with, I would go with one that has the enzymes to break down all different types. Okay. If you have a hard time breaking down just your proteins mainly, or steak or chicken, or you're eating a lot of meat, get ones that break down the proteins. But it just kind of depends on you and kind of what you feel your needs are.
Okay, very cool. So what about supplements to put into protein shakes? You know, I'm a protein shake addict. I put a little scoop of my BCAAS and glutamine in there. I like to do a little Great Lakes gelatin, which I've talked about a lot. What are some of your favorite supplements for protein shakes?
Well, I like the 3 you just mentioned. I use those 3 as well on a regular basis. I also really love putting omegas in my smoothies. So
saying that.
Yeah. There's a new type of product, in recent years that's been out on the market. Barlean's is the main brand that sells it, but it's called Omega Swirls. Okay. They're fantastic. They're emulsified and flavored fish oils. And so it's more of a yogurt-like consistency, but they taste great. They come in so many different flavors. And I feel like it adds great flavor to my protein shakes. I put in my oats, Greek yogurt.
Do they have chocolate flavor?
Oh, they have chocolate raspberry, and that one's specifically for women. Yeah.
There's something about chocolatey fish oil.
Yeah. And no fishy taste, no burp up later. They're great.
That's awesome. You know, funny that you say that. Also, too, side note is I recently tried a new protein bar called Omega. Have you heard of this thing?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, so it actually has a pretty high protein content and not a ton of calories and fat if you're counting your macros, but it contains a lot of like fish oil and anchovy oil and sardine oil, and I was terrified, but it tastes delicious.
What's it called again?
It's called Omega. It's OATMEGA. And like with any protein bar, it's not the most natural thing on earth, but we all do our best, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, those are good for in a pinch or travel or whatnot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Katie, thank you so much for answering all of these supplement questions. And now I have, a few personal questions for you that I know everyone is wanting to know. I think especially as women, we all wonder, how do you do it all? You are a business owner, you're a wife, you're a mom to a beautiful little guy. Like, how do you find time to work out and be fit and cook healthy? And how do you do it all?
Well, I have a village, first off. That helps me a lot. But, I screw up all the time. And, I have days where I don't really have time to make anything, and I'm grabbing apples and almonds and protein bars. But kind of my biggest thing is, I had developed small little habits over a long period of time that just became my lifestyle. So it's just kind of the way I do things now. I screw up.
Fit and healthy, or was there ever a time in your life where you were trying to come out of being unfit and healthy, or have you always been this way?
Oh God, no, I haven't always been this way. My 20s were about thinking that, a bagel and a mocha from Starbucks at 10 a.m. was a decent breakfast. So no, absolutely not. I've learned a lot throughout the years, and I've changed a lot, but it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it's something that I'm always striving to do a little bit better every day. And I still screw up all the time, and I'm okay with that. I don't feel guilty about it. I just move along to, getting right back in my healthy habits, the next meal, the next morning, the next day, whatever it may be. But I never get mad about it or upset. I just kind of move along.
So what motivates you to stay on this path of being fit and healthy?
Well, aside from like the vain reasons that we all have, we all want to look good and feel good. But I really want to show my son, a healthy way of life and have him pick up the habits that my husband and I have.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so I have some just quick rapid fire questions for you. You don't have to think about it all, but question number 1, what is your favorite protein shake?
Ooh, like a smoothie that I make?
Yeah.
Peanut butter banana coffee.
Tell us how you do it.
Half a banana, 2 teaspoons of peanut butter, cup of unsweetened almond milk, ice, and a scoop of chocolate protein, Starbucks via instant coffee pack.
Ooh, so it's cold.
Yeah, it's like a Frappuccino.
That Starbucks Via tastes amazing.
It is.
I took it camping once, and I had very low expectations, and it was delicious.
Yeah, it's kind of a vice of mine.
Okay, cool. Oh, well, that leads me to my next one. What is your favorite food indulgence?
Pizza. I mean, what kind of question is that?
Yeah. Favorite cocktail?
I'm sorry?
Favorite cocktail?
Salty dog.
What is a salty dog?
It's vodka, grapefruit juice, and salt on the rim.
Yum. Okay, what is your ideal way to spend the day?
Work out in the morning, hang out with my son and my husband, and maybe out for dinner and drinks with the hubby at night.
Ooh, I love it. And what is your favorite body part on yourself?
Ooh, I would say my arms.
Yeah, you do have good arms.
Oh, thank you. No, they make me feel strong. I like that.
Yeah, you have very good arms. Well, Katie, thank you so much for being here. It was just awesome talking to you. And everyone else, if you want to stay in touch with Katie, and I recommend that you do, she does an amazing monthly newsletter that you can opt in for at katiepenawellness.com. When you get to her website, just go to the contact form, pop in your information, and hop on that list, and you can stay in touch with her. And if you have any specific questions personal to you, I'm sure she would be glad to help answer. So thank you guys so much for watching. And again, Katie, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I so appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure to chat with you, my friend.